Good morning, everybody. How are you? How's temperature? Good. Hi. Anyway, good. Also, today also we decide one time Thara today, only one Thara. Good morning. We say should be yellow.
So Thara is especially very special for accomplishing any activities fast and successfully. So also we're celebrating his Holiness Dalai Lama's birthday today. Actual birthday was the day before yesterday, but for our convenience we're celebrating today.
Maybe cold, otherwise they're all unconventional. Oh yeah. Otherwise AC always go out, you know. Maybe can you come here? Yeah, bring the chair. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, more like that. Okay. Okay? Kitchen sugar. Oh, good job. Yeah, do you have any email?
Yeah.
Any idea? Maybe a little bit sound or small? What is better? A little better, I don't know. It's okay? Okay. Anyway, also when we restart the Thara, pray to long life His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and also all the teachings, also special this is Lama Rinpoche, then all the holy gurus, long life, and also relative our center members.
So all the people who are related with us.
And also sentient beings who wishes. That's also something they kind of intelligent.
So all their wishes to come true. And to clear away all their obstacles.
아니 어떤 제가 땅으로 산지를 공부하면서 더와 지금 도마도만 이제 영화이 아니 제가서 뭐는 남자네 나도 다 지금 있어.
And for all Indian beings to achieve state of enlightenment quickly, we're going to recite this 21 phrases to Thara one time.
Who told you all page number 221. You can slowly, okay?
Oh, I prostrate.
Only stars with hero, shines like lightning instantaneous, sprung from all the shapings of the Lord of three worlds to one lotus. Homage she whose face combines the 100 out of moons as fullest, blazing with light racing splendor, as a thousand star collection. Homage golden to one lotus, water born in hand adornment, giving effort calm austerity, patience, meditation, her spirit. Homage crown on top of gathas, actions triumph without limit. Rely on my hungry children, having reached every perfection. Homage filling with Thubten, whom desire direction and space, trembling with her feet the seven worlds, able to draw forth all beings. Homage worshipped by the all Lord, Chakra, Agni, Brahma, Maru, honored by the host of spirits, fortress, the Chandravas, Yakshas. Homage with your tread and face sound, destroying those magic diagrams, perfect pressing left and writing, blazing in a raging fireplace. Homage to the very dreadful, destroyer of Mara's champions. She will come in lotus visage, ruthless slayer of the enemies. Homage at the heart her fingers, adorn her with three good mudra. Wearing masses all excited, all directions will adorn her. Homage she so joyous radiant, grounded rich in gardens of light, mirthful laughing with Thubten, subjugating Mara's dimmers. Homage she able to summon all her guardians assembly, shaking, crowning with her own sign, saving from every misfortune. Homage crown adorned with crescent, moonlight on of just shining, Amitabha in her hair now, sending out much light eternal. Homage she will bring the baseline, eon ending fire abiding, righteous will joy surround you, truth of enemies destroying. Homage she who strikes the ground with her palm and with her foot pieces, gallant with the letter home, seven levels she does conquer. Homage happy, virtuous, peaceful, she whose spirit is peace nirvana. She endowed with almond soha, destroyer of the great evil. Homage she rejoices surrounded, tearing those bodies asunder. Reason, tone, and knowledge mantra, arrangement of the 10 letters. Homage to receive letters of the ship of syllable, by foot stamping ships the three worlds, Neru, Mandara, and Vyoya. Homage holding in her hand, dear heart moon of Jeff form, with twice spoken Tara and faith, totally dispelling poison. Homage she whom gods and yearnings, and the king are us to honor. Honored in her royal splendor, she dispels their kings and conflicts. Homage she whose two eyes bright with, radiant of the sun and full moon, with dry Sara and Thubten, she dispels severe contagion. Homage full of liberating, powered by the seven creatures, destroyers of the spirit Jasha, splendors of the supreme glory. These praises with verbal power and prostrations thus are 21.
Then go to page 245. The benefit.
Whoever celebration done with the devotion of societies, remember getting down and working and living will be granted for fearlessness to perfect this high order and will eliminate all unfortunate generations. And hundreds of conquerors will quickly find initiation, thus endowed with this awareness, one will eventually reach the state of Buddha. If affected by the most terrible poison, whether infested or that by remembering will one be thoroughly cleansed. It is best recited 2, 3, or 7 times. Will affect our toughness and tolerance caused by the various secrets and poisons, and by other beings as well. If you wish for a child, you will be a child. If you wish for wealth, you will receive wealth. All your wishes will be fulfilled, and all obstacles will be taken.
Okay, good. Dhamma dhyana samadhya. Mingin chima chua, really papa shmashuna, that dhammi chana susuti enjoying this.
So when you're reciting the 21 verses of Tara, if you feel tears coming out of your eye, or you're getting goosebumps and so forth, then you're receiving the blessings of Tara.
Deda, and that dhamma neshiti, and then shama was, namdi.
So this prayers, 21 verses of Tara is not that long, so if you can remember or memorize, that would be very good.
And also, you can recite when you're driving, also you walking, or you can go watch movie also, you can recite that. Anyway, it's very, 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 what we call it, benefit practice also. It's, if we do real thinking that it's not easy that we go to easy way, it's also easy. And also very good for
also it's very beneficial to clear away all these obstacles and bad omens. And of course, it's swift in achieving all the realizations.
Okay? All this. Yeah. Then we'll talk. One time, one lama, he had one tender. The lama went to teach some village place. Then someone come to see that the lama, that he's not there. And he asked to his tender, where the teacher lama, where? He said, he go to that.
Given to scare people.
Because he talk about all the negative karma results. Right? The negative karma results are not good things. They always say bad things happen. There was, I don't know who we talk. Today, but that not so long be chewing.
So the foundation of Buddhism is the Four Noble Truths. So there isn't any practice of Dharma that is not included in the Four Noble Truths. So it is the Four Noble Truths that Buddha taught or gave as the first teaching in Varanasi. So what are the Four Noble Truths? Anyway, the place that we are going now here is called the cycle existence.
And then Goa said,
so samsara or cycle existence is a place where there are a lot of sufferings.
근데 인자 다 덴바 시세야 돼 간리를 왔으나 아니 대나라다 다 진리를 찾습니다. 이니셔 그래서 봐. 이니.
So for our truth, you can divide into two sets of cause and effect.
봐. 아니 맞은 코와래 제발해야 돼. 아니 저를 찔러도 싶은 말이야.
So taking birth in cycle existence is by through the power of cause and conditions.
이제 맞은 코와 제지지 제대로야 아니 근주자 마스를 그래서 대다 내가 지난 아무데 대해서 고맙게 기도로 이거로
So anyways, the cause to be born in the cycle of existence are the karma and delusions. So those are the origins. So the true origin, the second one.
아니 대금 레벨라 가려운 것이나 아니 다 누가다 마스를 그래서
And then the result of that cause, the origin, the true origin, is the suffering. So that's the first one, which is the true suffering.
아니 대리 누가 달아야 다저 아니 누가지 누가 예배 누가 차와지 누가서 다 누가말로 섬레스.
And in the true suffering, there are many different kinds of suffering. So basically, there are three main sufferings: suffering of pain, suffering of change, and all progressive suffering.
간시 누가 세야 돼 랑기 얘가 샘 강려하기 다 문제피 찾는다 누가서 봐.
So any unwanted thing, unwanted feeling upon our body or mind is called suffering.
봐. 근데 누가 영향이 jel라 딱 근주다 마스. 봐.
And the cause of such kind of suffering is the true origin, the delusions and karmas.
근데 다들이 근주세에 가려서나 다 너무 두신데 계속
So mainly the three poisonous delusions:
봐. 아니 내가 시다 뜨고 섬스와
attachment, and ignorance.
내가 시다 뜨고 섬지 다 양화도 성원에 아니 간주 리가 예수지 샤와시고 그래서 샤와 뒤에라 주발할 때니 아니 점게 와서 뒤가 제발 다 주마서 그래서
And so these three poisonous delusions, the attachment, the hatred, and the ignorance, influenced by these three delusions, and then we create non-virtuous actions. And the result of the non-virtuous actions, we experience the three types of sufferings.
가리 팅도 등어나 저 코랑 약고 매와야 돼. 팅도 약고 거 와서
So the reason why it is the suffering as a result of the non-virtuous action or the delusion is because the delusion and the non-virtuous action itself are not a good thing, and so therefore the result they produce is also not a very good thing.
어디 대야 쪼대 딱 뜨고 딱 내가 제가 쓰는 것도 뜨고 그래서 뜨고 돼.
And among these three, the main one is the ignorance of the reality. Ignorance to reality.
아니 뜨무기 왕이 다 샤와 많이 봐 셰프다 좀더 되려
So because of ignorance, then we engage in this, all kinds of non-virtuous or wrong actions.
다 누마야 다 좀쓰는데 같이 다 죽어 싸워다 본인 같이 다 삼지 소리로 그래서 가르쳐.
So anyway, there's a story about this father and son who were herding animals.
아니 빠와 되게 딱 거기 내가 마고 진짜 빠와 깔 가지고 가라 빠와 니고 그래서 그래서
So they were working hard herding animals. So the father was tired, especially. The father was tired, so he sat down to rest.
then is then 다 이대로 가라야 아니 뭐 드라마시다 빠위 내려 보는 거예요.
So while he was lying down, lying down, a fly landed on his head.
다 고라기 버대기다 동거에 돼서 와 버대기.
So the son saw that fly landing on his father's head.
다 버대기 삼나 다 예뻐와 깔려 가는 건지 다 매도 뜯자 그래 다 버대기 코에 지금 다 버대 다 매워지고 욕도 많이 말했어.
And so the son thought, my father is very tired and is resting, yet this fly is disturbing him, so I should destroy it. He thought like that.
아니 다 이게 모두 소매가 tam시는 다 공할 소장 그래서 다 그한테 똑같이 그래서 와.
So he said, if I try to catch him, he might bite me. He might bite me, the fly.
아니 다 tam시 야수 다 모두 세세는 야수에 고쳤는 그래서 와.
And so he thought the best is to kill the fly.
아니 그 바치는 다 도체고 키우는데 도체고 키우다 kumbutsaya 답시까지 다 빨리 가요. 바닥도 치십시오 말했어요.
And so he went aside and lifted a big piece of stone and went to kill the fly.
근데 이제 다 뭐디 빨리 내려셔도 다 내도 쉬어도 빠와도 냠세셔.
So he dropped the stone on the fly, and then hit it on his father's head. So he killed both of them.
근데 이제 다 무시바 말이바 때문에 오기다 그 아주 드리용했어요.
So anyway, this is a story illustrating the ignorance. Because of not knowing, ignorance, then he killed both his father and the fly.
근데 이제 다 나라서야 지금 약간 뭐지 소소 야포에 쌈이 제네 가지 뒤샤와라다 무대 방송도 왔어.
And also in our case, we engage in many kind of activities, thinking that this is appropriate activity, and actually engage in non-virtuous or wrong activities.
와, 어떤 때 뜨무세요. 다 아니 뜨무 되어다 다 되어 그냥 다 맞은 대차서 잡아줘요. 그래서
So because of the ignorance, then there comes another delusions like attachment.
내차서야 돼 간지 아니 소소라 이분들 이따 소소까지 했던 거니 다 예지라 미니 이분들은 파파 저도 되고 다 심주이 말고.
So attachment is a mental factor that apprehends this object of desire or attachment and exaggerates the beauty of that object more than it really is.
간지 나도 잘하라고 하잖아. 간지 소소 톰덕으로 소소나 건덕으로 시도 왔어.
So for example, when we have a desire for something to obtain it,
대삼에는 소주 대투하기 탑시 그 짜루 있지네. 간지 맞잖아. 아니 정말 잘하라고 나도 그 잡아. 나 남자친구 왔어.
And so when we want that thing, then we apply all sorts of means to achieve it. And if we are not able to achieve it positively in the right way, then we try to steal it.
와. 어때? 근데 이제 대가 레벨아 내가 양 소소를 문제 되는 거야. 다도라 아니 고알을 깨는 거야. 다 굳이 참 왔어.
And so as the result of that action, temporarily, of course, one experiences all these difficulties or sufferings in the cycles in this life. And then in the long run, it becomes a more cause for one to revolve in cyclic existence.
간지 나도 잘라라고는 나도 어떤 시스템 디브라 나도 뇌하기 대표 추가 나도 조금 문제가 좀 누구들.
So anything that we desire for, that never satisfies us, right? Does it really satisfy us?
You guys find satisfaction, whatever you want? Not right. How about maybe 50%? Maybe 25? 25 is okay. You know. Because we are ignorance. Ignorance push us. Then we think this is correct, but then we try to run and walk. 아니 되지. 다 아니 쉐다서야 되가. 다그 용나 마셔 속에 와서
And the hatred, of course, creates a lot more and a lot of problems, right?
간지 만지 된지가 아니 딱 너무 잘못하가 돼. 아니 내가 쉐다 좀 내가 봐다니 간지 만들었지. 다양한 생각이 보면 뭐발아야 되고 보면 다 연구를
So anyway, these delusions like ignorance sits back and then sends other delusions like attachment, anger, hatred, and so forth in front to create all these non-virtuous actions. And then, as a result of those non-virtuous actions, we always go through all these problems at present and in the future as well.
아니 진짜의 로트정하는 게 제모들한테 끼워요 말이죠. 끼워돼.
And so when these minds are arising, then it is not good feeling for us. Do we feel good when these minds are rising or manifesting?
Right. 그래서 내가 진짜고 나도 다들 끼우면 고치는 거야.
So that's the upfront or the temporal disadvantage of those delusions that makes you unhappy right away.
아니 다투고 잡아라 야좀 고발라 저기 그래서
And the ultimate result, will be birth, second instance again and again.
가지 제가 심었을 때 가지 개량이 얘나 매랜도 말랜도 가지 다는 개고요 그래서
So whether we believe in a future life or not, doesn't matter. We still have to take birth.
그러나 모두 산이 나라 수수 또 고매와 하고면 그때 세대 가서 기와시마에 매번 쭉 돌아가서
So we can't prove the non-existence of the future life just because we don't believe or we don't know, right?
그러나 산이 와 주도 개량이라고 얘기해요. 산이 와 개량이라고 하기.
Do we all believe that there is tomorrow?
왜 believe? 나도 또 매다 수수 또야 산이 또야.
But do you know there is tomorrow?
그 산이 대신에 요하를 신 조회를 봤어.
So tomorrow is yet to happen, right?
대상 가서 수치 또 말하고 왔어.
So therefore none of us know tomorrow, right?
류에 때 매프가 딱 가로 추세를 하고. 류에 때 매나 딱그 매워라 이제.
So if it is not in the object, as an object of the mind, then it doesn't exist, right? If it's not an object of mind, it doesn't exist, right?
그래서 산이 대령이를 위해 더 많이 있어요. 저도 때 걸어서를.
And so therefore tomorrow is not an object of mind, right? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not an object of mind.
Right.
So if it exists, it has to be an object of mind. It has to be perceived by mind, in other words. But if it's not perceived by mind, then it doesn't exist. So tomorrow is not perceived by mind, or it's not an object of mind, therefore should not exist, right? Does it make sense?
근데 장식에다는 통과를 선이 통과를.
Can you see tomorrow, even if you use binoculars?
이나 당도 캘레리어 와서 산이서 주제와.
But we all believe there's tomorrow, right?
나도 캘레만 이 산이서 꼭 딱딱 자는 거예요. 와서.
And just as we believe there is tomorrow, right?
근데 이바자 제가 심어서는 가고 캘 가족가 나도 남백이 싫어지나 캘레는 말아 가지고 로고요.
So in a similar way, the future life, whether you believe in it or not, there is a future life, and once we die from this life, we have to be born again.
어떤지 인바인자 내차 제가 뜬 무슨지 영원데 처음에 옛나 아니 대근 저거라 생들어야 장원들어 이제와 심어야 양종 거라 찍고 자 그래서
And so if we follow these delusions like attachment, hatred, ignorance, and so forth, then of course it brings all these troubles and problems in this life, and again in the future also we're to be born in the cycle again and again.
그래서 나도 자 소대 내가 저 뜬서 그래.
So if we consider someone who gives us suffering as enemy, then these delusions are the worst of all enemies.
이나 되게 자대 나도 맨다가 싶나 맨다 태고 말해.
So these kind of enemies we can't shoot with a gun.
Even we should it up it doesn't care. It's very certain certain. Therefore, now what kind of weapon to bring the enemy, to kill the weapon? What are you? Say, Nasha, 아니, 딴 양을 쳐야 됐다. 샤바고, 니제고, 뭐? 저거 센 거야.
So the weapon to kill this enemy is the practice, Dharma practice, right? Meditating on loving kindness, compassion, and so forth.
이나, 나도 몇 마음먹고 두손으로 드라이브 마스 지금 통고에 말했어.
So most of us, we don't see these delusions as enemy.
자세는 나도 가득해라. 간지 소설을 내가 지금 소설 찍으면 지금 나도 잘하려고 그러고.
So how do we define enemies? Right? The enemy is someone who causes harm, right? Or causes sufferings.
근데 이제 근데 너무 두 사람이 맞아 맞지와 지금도
So because these delusions cause us suffering,
어떤지가 대가 다 접근 주의사
so therefore these are enemies. And, so these are enemies. So these are the true origin, of all the sufferings.
아니 대근 레벨라 다 등하나도 문제가 있어. 대래 등하서 문제가 돼.
And the result of that, all that problem sufferings that we experience as a result of these delusions is the suffering, the true suffering.
다 빼다 대근 레벨 간신히 나도 사천년지 풍부 다들 내 사초 왔어.
And so the result in the contaminated body that we have, the aggregate that we have, it can be the result of the example of this result of all delusions.
간신히 완전 대근 다다가 사천년지 풍부 내 그거 신체 아무도 등하면서 말했어.
So as long as we have this basis to experience the suffering, the basis, the contaminated aggregate, we are prone to the sufferings all the time.
이제 너희 부모들 동아시원은 나도 동아시원 왔어. 이제 나도 동아시원 개 왔어.
So because we have these contaminated aggregates of body, therefore we experience all the sufferings, right? So if we don't have the body, then we will not experience the suffering of any part of the body, right?
Right? If you call one person's name Jashi. If Jashi's hands 라바나나 한 자시 나는 거 왔어. 자시 라바나나 자시 나왔어.
So when Tashi's hand is not well, then you can say Tashi is not well, right?
Right? But Jashi's hands not Jashi, right? Then Jashi has headache, then we say, oh, I have headache. I say, I'm a Jashi. Right? My mind. Then we can say, if I have headache, I say, oh, I have headache. But my head is not me. Then I have stomachache. I say, oh, I have stomachache. But my stomach is not me. Because I have eyes, ears, nose. My stomach is not eyes, not talking. My head is not eyes, ears. 진짜이다? 간지 진짜기 나도 풍부 내가 등하셔하니까 나도 등하셔.
So because we experience suffering on this body, therefore we call it experiencing suffering.
얘는 나도 풍부 때 짜치면 쉬우지 어렸어.
But we consider our body as being very precious.
아니 사직이 대 등하와래 맞다와래 무슨 말이었어. 나도 때 로쇼 풍부의 힘이 하고 쉬우인가 싸우고 쉬우인가 그게 왔어.
So, but Buddha said this body is in the nature of suffering. It's not suffering, but in the nature of suffering, and it's impure and so forth. But we consider it as very precious and very clean and so forth.
If we don't want to see, we don't want to 딱 나도 가지고 돈이 땅이 마주고 조금 옛날 그런 것도 좋은 나도 좋은 거 같은 거 봤어.
Also, everything that we feel disgusted about is inside our stomach, right?
We all sleep with that, right? But we don't. 딱 나도 똑다가 저러고 또 마시고 있어. 나도 이거 나도 좀 되게 말아.
So, but when we see that thing outside, we think it's very dirty, but actually it's all inside us, and we don't think of that as being dirty.
그거 나도 부복 속에 나도 수복 속에 와.
So those are created by our body, right?
나도 수복에 나타나 소야기 진짜로 찾아 왔어.
So our body becomes like a machine, and that produces all these filth or dirt.
그래서 산지 좀 된 얘기 간제 나도 누가 마보 쇼치 때 뜬거 그거 하는 게 말아서 지 보고에 짜증 쉬었지. 대략 때니 누가 마보 좀 좋았어.
So out of ignorance, we consider this body as being very precious, and through that we experience many sufferings.
근데 이제 산지 좀 된 거 다들 누가 말했다. 무슨 말했다 하시면 막 자.
So Buddha said it's the nature of suffering, and it is impure.
아니 다 누가 입에 제대지 아니 간지 등화지도 제비도 차와지도 순간이 부모들한테니 나도 좀 못 그랬어.
So because the reason why it is in the nature of suffering is because of this we experience all sorts of sufferings, all three sufferings, the suffering of pain, suffering of change, and all progressive sufferings.
아니 등화 말이었어. 아니 다 못한 말이었어. 와다 못한 말이었어. 수준의 시간자 다 못한 말이었어.
And also it's called impure because we have all sorts of impurities in our body.
아니 못한 말이었어. 나 제가 땅도 제지하고 그 못한 말은 지금으로 소개해요.
And also it is impermanent. You should not, we always think that this body of mind is there all the time. It's not changing and so forth, but it's changing all the time. And therefore it is impermanent, so we should not have that grasping at our body as being permanent.
야제기 만지려고 해서
So it keeps perishing as we are born to do every day.
먼저 수고도 가디가 다 제비 담아야 되고 제가 다 줄여서 그대 좀
So when will it produce? When will it start to be born? Our body is taking birth every day, right?
맞지? 아니 먼저 제비 기친 이반에 다 지금 기친이 나왔어.
So from the time we are born, there's a different way of defining the birth, right? But anyway, from the time we were born, from the second moment of our birth, the aging has already started.
가르쳐나 제네 기친이 반에 가지고 기치 딱 담보 개들어 아니 개들어 봤어. 딱 개고서 가다 나 지금 잘 개는 딱 개라는 거지. 아니 지스라.
Get what?
딱 개라고 개와 봤어. 근데 나 같이 다 도와주려나 같이 세트를 와서 같이 나도 로자 대화에나 아니 로직 제대로 로직 거는 대화 좀 같이 세트를 와서
And so as we age, then we become closer and closer to death, right? So if we are going to live for 100 years, when we have aged for 1 year, aged 1 year old, then we have only 99 years left. So that way we become closer and closer to that.
I think now we have just this is what June, right? June, July, August, September, October, November, December. I think this December is the end of the war. Right? You guys believe? So you have not much time. I'm joking, but I'm joking. Anyway, it's 2011. True? I thought I did. We have 2012, we have 12 months. Now how many months really gone? 6 months, almost 7. Then we have 1 month, 30 days. How many days really gone? And 30 days, 1 day, how many hours? How many hours really gone? Days, 1 day, how many hours? How many hours really gone? So
that way you become closer and closer to death.
Yeah, what's that?
So that's why his attendants there is now going to scare the people. But it's not really scary. He's explaining the reality. So that's the reality, and we don't know that as reality. And the Lamas explain to us what the reality is. What are the realities?
What the day by the country, but you know, Koyagi did the country demonstrate that the time to something. Even travel day, that do not have
and so anyway, so the cause to be born in cycles again and again are the three poisonous delusions, which are known as the true origins, and the result of those true origins are the true sufferings.
Today, now, that thing Koala Jadam, Tigger was, or Jadam,
So the suffering, the cause to be born in the cyclism and its results.
다 오늘 그거는 다 여러 배스. 다 오늘 그걸 먹고 영화에서 어떤 말을 다 아니 아주 고와라 타비 타와 그렇다 모델라 그렇죠.
So what about the freedom from cyclism? Is it possible? So there is the possibility. It is possible to be free from cyclism, and that is called cessation, the true cessation.
Right? And 만주역이 단다 랍자를 부르는 것으로 소소 랍자 로종 사백이 살아서 로종 사지와 그러면 학교에 왔을 때 우리 여 학교는 나로 오시고
So, for example, like when we go to school, we know it can be completed, the studies that we're taking, and it can be completed, and therefore we go to school, right? So we know there is a completion of that study, right? And when we have achieved that degree, then that's when we have completed.
근데 이거다 다 누가 빠와 코와를 잡아서 여와 있다 한 코와서도 코빠야 그래서 한번 하고 그래서
And so there is the cessation, the ceasing of the cycle existence, and so it's called the true cessation because there is cessation, and therefore there is an end. There is a cessation that we achieve, therefore there is the end of the cycle existence.
근데 이다 대 코와를 잡아달라 고대에서 발을 그래서 와 같이 대 대마치는 순간
And so that freedom of cycle existence, or the cessation of all the sufferings and true origin, is called the true cessation.
다 원아 근데 다 와도 토라고 가지고 왔다 아니 다 가도 되는 토그래도 돼 토그 다 내가 지고 그래서
So to achieve that cessation, then you can't just sit and achieve it. In order to achieve that, you have to walk.
다 가지는 다 된지기 이제 너무 두섬 게 세매다 먹기 와도서 아니 딱 매워서 그래서 생기는 매워서 그래서
So you have to work hard to eliminate all these delusions, all the three poisonous delusions, which cause, which brings all the sufferings, in order to achieve the cessation.
다 들이 냠내던 만줄까지 가시고 내가 까지 가시고 그래서
And so that kind of practice is the most difficult of all the walks.
다 모두 샤바 공부 그래서 샤바 공부 통통돼
So we have to generate loving kindness. It's easy to generate loving kindness.
먼저 남지 everything's fine. They quiet. He said, I'm meditation to. 아까 샤바 공부 해라. 샤바 공부 하고 있어. 샤바 세디 다 소설 없는 지. 샤바 공부 사기 열. 샤바 공부 사기 열 같은 거 말아 다 될 테니까 그래서.
So, when we are out of problems, away from the problems, away from difficult situations or conditions, then we meditate on loving kindness and patience and so forth. So I don't know if that we call meditating or practicing loving kindness or patience. So the patience and loving kindness has to be meditated or practiced at a time when there is a condition for anger to rise, or somebody who's causing problems to you, or somebody who's torturing you with the softness and so forth. So that time, if you practice patience, then really is the practice of patience.
Right? If someone say ask you, you have some little bit dirt here. Someone said, if you go to the maybe some outside public place, someone said, excuse me, you have some dirt here. What talk about? It's not your business. Can I say? He said, oh, thank you, you told me. Maybe people can say that. Maybe most doesn't say.
So if someone were to point at the faults on your face, then you usually will become angry, right?
Then you go back to home, you check and say, why I did this so this morning? 10 of what anyway, so anyway. 그때 이번에 지금 샤바금 도움도 와서 이제 아니 조금 더 돼야지. 조금 도움도 와서.
So therefore, it's not easy to practice loving kindness, right? It's not easy to practice patience.
아니 딱 공주 님도 조바데. 조바에 공도 와서.
So the antidote, or the opposite of the antidote, is the patience. So we're not able to practice that well, right?
조금 못와 연자 단단하고 가지나데 치바 로르데요.
So because we're not able to meditate or practice these patience and so forth, therefore we always go through the same thing.
와, 된저기 샤바도 이제도 자주 샘새다 다 코다 치는 거다. 남들 스님보다 말이다. 남들에서 잡수. 같이 코와의 조약이. 코와 조식을 째. 코와 조식을 째.
So all these positive actions, like a lot of kind of compassion, understanding the true nature of reality and so forth. So all these are the cause to eliminate the delusions, the three poisonous delusions, and they are called the true path.
아니 남주에 가서 가진 뭐 셴바 잭제는 수수도 잭제요. 수중하고 수수 다시 잭 나왔어.
So normally we always check on others. Do we check on ourselves?
수수 잭제 개치고 싫어야 될 거.
Checking oneself is very important.
Investigation our mind. What we thinking, what action we doing. We talk about it. We read a lot of books. We receive a lot of teachings. Investigation ourselves is
So we have to check with our mind whether our thoughts, our actions are in accordance with the teachings or not. Does it go along with the teachings or not? Is it contradicting with the advices?
뭐다 대대로 산다고. 대대다 다 나도 샤바 공부 모두야 이제 공부도 같이 공부를 너무 제대로 와서 같이 공부를
So we might also think that why do we need to meditate or practice loving kindness, patience, and so forth, right?
다 샤바 공부를 소소리 셴베 샘처럼 공부를 와서.
So loving kindness, who do you practice on someone else than oneself, right?
다 대대 샤바 공부 추구를 했어. 그거를 공 추구를 했어. 그거를 공 추구를 했어.
So it's all right, it's all right to meditate or practice loving kindness. It is necessary to practice loving kindness.
가르쳐서나 아주 대화도 누가 간가 다 장을 셴베 샘시는 걸 봤어. 그래도 누가 간가. 나도 대화 때 장을 셴베 샘시는 걸 저기 봤어.
So all the happiness that we want to achieve, can be brought through other sentients only.
당장 지 야랑 또사 모자다 친구들 같이 미 셴바 장장을 때는 거 소소 주고 강 나쁘게 왔어.
So all the comforts that we have in this life is brought through other people, right? The house that we live in, the house that we slept last night, and then we woke up this morning and we had a breakfast, and then we got into a car, and then we drove to the place where all these things that we go through, right? It's by the kindness of others.
아니 샴바다 니제사 몸속에 여 샘지 샴바이면 소소는 샴바 아주 계산 말아 소소는 샴바 문제를 봤어.
So loving kindness is always practiced upon others. And so when you love someone else, that's called loving kindness. Loving oneself is not loving kindness.
근데 이제 아니 딱 나도 남들이 식당 그 정지로 때 내가 시행을 왔어.
And so anyway, so the foundation of all the teachings of the Buddhism is the Four Noble Truths.
아니 대라 때니 다 냐내게 저한테 아니 다 아니 시와 차와면 받아 따와 떼줄 두 그래서 와.
And so through that, and then it falls to the two conduct and the view, the conduct of not causing any harm to others, non-violence, or not causing any harm to others, and the view of the correct view of emptiness.
와. 아니 다 시와 처음에 제일 이제 가는나 아니 강가 소소를 거리치고 연자 아니 나 이렇게 말해서 와.
And so the conduct, conduct where we should not cause any harm to others is because others are all very kind to us. Therefore, we should not cause any harm to others. So right now we're grown up, with our bodies and minds fully grown up. So this huge body that we have now is through the kindness of our parents, right? They gave birth to us, they raised us, so therefore we are able to reach to this state now. And they're very kind to us, and just like that, all sentient beings are very kind to us, so therefore we should not cause any harm to that. And then the view, the correct view of emptiness or dependent origination, so dependent rising. So everything comes independent upon other this and that, right? And so there are many subtle and gross levels of dependent rising. And just to say the gross level, like whatever we have now, is by depending on others, we're able to have this, right? And so that's like gross dependent rising. And so, for example, an old man, if he has to depend on a stick to stand up, and if he broke his stick, then he lost himself, right? And so the sentient beings are like the stick for old man who supports him or her to stand up. And so the sentient beings are like that. So helps us all to achieve our happiness. Therefore, we shouldn't cause harm to them. And also, we cannot live by ourselves alone. Right? We always have to depend on others. So therefore, others are very kind to us.
Right? Maybe we have to learn something from others. Maybe we have to find someone give for us job, or someone give something to do. Just we don't want to think too long, too many lives, just this life, without relating others. We never stand, we never got food. Therefore, this is the difficult thing about that. The reality is that. Therefore,
so therefore we should meditate on loving kindness, compassion, patience, and so forth. I should not be thinking of I all the time.
Then I throw up on the ocean. All the time one day I drop for us to ocean. Can you say this? I want to chill you.
So if we keep thinking of I all the time, then this I will throw us into water.
Very deep water. Then the shock comes to eat us. Therefore, we don't want to follow the ocean. Then, therefore, we don't want to listen always I. Sometimes I learn to be with that. Okay? This is that thing in not touch down on the us.
So that's just a general way of Buddhism.
That thing is not really kind of
So we've been talking about the kindness of the teacher, right? How teacher, kindness of the teacher here. So the second part here is his kindness in teaching the Dharma. It's in page 254, in the blue cover. It's outline number 96. Outline number 96. What? So let's read this through together to the next outline. Got it? His kindness in teaching the Dharma. The great Bodhisattva once gave himself, his sons, daughters, and relatives to fierce yakshas for the sake of one verse of Dharma. Our teacher was reborn as the He drove 1,000 iron spikes into his body in order to receive Dharma teachings. When reborn as King Ranashawa, he burned his flesh with olive oil lamps and jumped into a furry pit. As King Pabongka, he used his skin as paper and his ribs as a pen and listened to the Dharma. Great Atisha endured great difficulty sailing the oceans for 30 months to receive the Dharma teaching. Leaders of the dangers of storms, sea monsters, and so on. People like Marwa and Lurek underwent many difficulties to receive Dharma teaching. Even their lives to go through the event today it is not easy to travel to India, but the translators of all risk their lives to go there to receive Dharma teaching. They offer their gurus golden mandalas only to receive the teaching. Even recalling the hardships they had undergone made them shudder. How most gurus had reached to this level. Not even the Buddhas could give you a better teaching without requiring you to endure even the slightest hardship. What great merit you must have to receive such profound Dharma without any hardship. Be serious and practice it well. Suppose a person is about to die because he has eaten medicine and poison. But who don't instead vomiting out the poison, turn the ingested food into medicine, and transform the ingested medicine into the ambrosia of immortality. Well, we have performed many great actions to take us to the lower realms. This is like the ingested poison. The Guru makes us purify these actions. We will normally accumulate virtue for the things of this life, a long life, good health, gifts, and fame. The Guru gets us to change direction and have a sound motivation, make pure prayers, and dedicate our virtue. Our virtue has been transformed into something beneficial for future lives. He also makes us transform the virtue we collected to achieve our rebirth and liberation into supreme complete Buddhahood. Who would be kinder? The essence of Tibetan says. If they say we cannot repay the kindness of being taught one verse, even by offering 4 and giving yours as the verse as letters, how many repay the kindness? How very kind someone would be to take a man's suffering poison, take him out of prison and set him up in a conscience. For the Guru teaches us the means to be free of the 3 lower realms. He is kind indeed, for we will enjoy what is our influence as well as the humans. He teaches well as the supreme being to dissipate all misfortunes of samsara and nirvana. He leads us to a holy state, the 3 kayas, what will be a greater kindness.
Okay.
So just by reading this, we leave a virtuous imprint in our mind. So slowly we have, or there is a hope for us to be able to achieve liberation. And so it's saying that we are able to receive all these teachings through the kindness of the teacher, and without having to go through many difficulties, or without having to make a huge amount of offerings and so forth. And so these great teachers in the past, how much difficulties they were through to receive teachings, and how much they had to pay. So like it says here, the great Bodhisattva once gave himself, his son, daughter, and relatives to free sessions for the sake of 1/1 of Dharma. So they gave up all their, all his families and relatives. And also it says here, when our teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, was born as Velinga Lita, he drove 1,000 iron spikes into his body in order to receive Dharma teachings.
아니 와다 소소 수본이 샤츠 거네 지금 마음에 줘야다. 아니 지금 어떻게 지금 닦아는 뭐 저기서 와서 뭐 말이야. 아니 내가 또 좋아. 아니
Also then, like one time when he was born as the king, got a shower and he like offered 1,000 baht on his body. He kind of digged the meat flesh from his body and then make it like a hole and then fill it with the butter and oil or butter with the wick and then light a butter like that.
아니 지금 이거 봐.
And how some of his teachers used as used their own skin as a paper and ribs to write on that.
나도 다 지금 영내만 돈 버들이 다 그만 기자들이 와서 다 나서도 다 무슨 말이야.
So of course this is practice of great practitioners, high-level practitioners. It's not possible, virtually possible for people like ourselves.
내 가르치는 같이 쭉 되다가 깔린들이 잡고 있다는데 된다 쭉 가르나 쭉 되다가 깔린들이 뭐 잡아 잡고 잡아래. 되게 잡았는데 단다 산지에서 산지 선바세 그런 친구들이 다시 뭐 그래서
And so anyway, these teachers, they went through these difficulties. They worked very hard, and that's why they become great bodhisattvas, for destroyers, or Buddhas and so forth.
이게 또 된다 쭉 가르치나 같이 쭉 치다 그래도 나게 그래서 와.
So these great teachers, they gave up all these things, give up their life, give up their friends, relatives, and so forth, in order to receive Dharma teachings.
아니 조지 아니 다 나오는 게 있어야 다 정신들이야. 아니 나왔으면 되니까 가와셔 봐.
더 주소.
나와 주소. 가와셔 봐. 아니 내가 봐도 내가 배우야. 뭐 봐도 깔 같이 잡. 하나도 좀 문제는 얘들 왔어.
And then Lamatisha, how difficulties he went through in order to go and receive teachings on Bodhicitta from Lama Selimpa, and like his the voyage for like 13 months and so forth. And then Marpa and Milarepa, how difficulties they went through to receive teachings. Many of you have already heard or read the great stories of Milarepa and so forth. Right?
이마야 다 배워서 자갈을 들고 가라다 로도 더 내가 이제 가면서 노사부터 깔리 땀이 배 자갈 앞에 주인이 대별 파지 다 깔리 산이부터 나와 그래서 봐.
And so in the past, when there were no good facilities for traveling, that time traveling from Tibet to India was like dreadful, and these great translators who went through all these difficulties to receive teachings and translate into Tibetan and so forth.
아니 뭐하시마다 아니 라마는지 취지였는데 세지 메라 배워다 그러고 아니 지서 가셔서다 좀 이마지 봐 먹어가지고 송아요 그래서 막 치우더라야.
And so in order to receive teachings, they had to offer like golden mandalas and so forth.
내가 남돌까지 깔려서라 다 먹어봐. 영영 피 먹어봐. 가지 그러고 아니 기도질로 시죠 말아봐 때도 라마도 딱 까지 맞지 수치 딱 까지 뭐라고 왔어.
So right now we're going to have to go through many difficulties and make a huge amount of offerings. Without all this, we're able to receive all these teachings. And so if this teacher is not kind, then who can be kinder than this teacher?
가지 세상 개개 가르치는 맛이 가르치도 막 가지 내가 가르쳐도 소설을 배우면서 가지 소설을 배도.
So it doesn't matter whether the teacher is kind or not. All helps is it helps oneself.
가지 되게 소설 쏘는 거 쏘사게 산지 가지 개개 세디 가지 산지 까 강화마 같은 것도 막 갖고 와서 아니 나도 때 하고 와. 딱 나도 가지 전에처럼 모두 펜토에 와서 아니 산지 연구하고 되게 와서 나도 펜토에 했어. 개와이 그랬어. 쏘는 거 총 싸게 그랬어.
So the teachers are teaching what the Buddha has taught. So if we listen to the teacher and practice that, then that is same as listening to the Buddhas. And so if we do this, and then of course if we follow the orders of the Guru, then it becomes same as following the orders of the Buddha, and that will please the Buddhas too. So just by pleasing the Buddha, we accumulate very much merit, and then of course the result of practice is we receive all these realizations.
대화 쇼 찌는 것도 체크고 맞잖아. 걔가 대화 체고 산지 대화는 것도 체크고 말했어.
So it's not like we should not feel like we're obliged to do this, obliged to have faith in the Buddha or think of Buddha as the Buddha and so forth.
가르에서는 만주 수도 개개의 야보이 도나 디카라가 가지고 얘기를 왔어. 저는 얘기 왔어.
So if we have a good teacher, whatever he or she tells us, we listen to them, right? Do we listen to your good teachers?
이 가지고 누가 라고 막 같이 거와들면서 동아리 타야 탑시고 따라가는 거였어.
So he's not telling us to do anything bad. He's telling us to do the things that will help us to be free from cycle existence, right?
진짜 대녀만은 소송 거라 동아리 줘서 왔어.
So if we listen to that, then we ourselves will be free from cycle existence, right?
근데 이제 삼약 가져와서 나 캡상 수술하고 도 삼약 개개다 상계를 치지. 삼약이나 캡상문이 수술하고 왔어.
So even if you think that teacher is a guru, teacher is a Buddha, then you yourself win, right?
하나 가도 개개 상계에 삼아 말씀다 개고 상계 차려서 말해서나 상계 마셔고 해 말이죠.
So it doesn't matter whether the teacher is a Buddha or not, right? If we think of the teacher as a Buddha, then we ourselves receive the benefit, and so it doesn't matter to the teacher. He doesn't become Buddha if we think he's Buddha, or he doesn't become not Buddha if we think he's not Buddha.
근데 캡상문이도 수술하게 맞아. 나라서 수술치 나라서 치 캡상 와야다. 보통 요하고 쳇다 다시 얘기도 좀 나도 왔어.
So we get the profit and we get the benefit, and therefore wherever there's a profit or benefit, we should do that, right?
근데 말이지. 다 남아 산지 까다 개개 산지 찍어다 대코서 따와다 쇼를 넣어서 맞는 코서 까는 가로 되라고 말해줘. 계속 수술을 해와 인자 되네. 그래서
So it's not like it's the system of Buddhism, to think of the Guru as a Buddha, and it is the rule Buddhism to think of the Guru as Buddha. It's not like that. If we think of the Guru as a Buddha, we ourselves get the profit, or we ourselves see the benefit. Therefore, we should think of the Guru as a Buddha.
그래서 나 당나도 가게 같이 나바이나 산지에서 이시는 지스야. 같이 가게 다 추고 다 자자자 개개도 또 사도 캐나게 왔어.
So we consider as the Buddha, we consider Buddha as our main teacher, right? Like in the Buddhism and the Jesus and Christianity and so forth, right?
근데 코도 가나도 나도 다 얘기를 왔어.
So whatever they say,
가도도시로.
we try to listen as much as possible, right?
근데 대녀만은 소소라 때 벤토가 와.
And by listening to them, then we receive the good results, right?
간절한다. 공조 말아 생각나고 왔어. 코로나가 제가 끼고 말다 생각나고 왔어.
So what they tell is to not get angry. And if you get angry, you will be unhappy.
생군들 왜 코로나 죽지도 돼.
So is it really true? Are we happy when we're angry?
난돌아야 꼬마 마그들라. 꼬마 가다 제가 끼고 말다 나도 그래서.
And also it says that don't steal. If you steal, you'll be unhappy.
Maybe it is happy when you don't want it, but when you got things that you have, you scared. 아빠는 저기 키만 나고 샹샹 하는 거서. 지금 꾸꾸지 않잖아요. 아빠는 저기 키친 입안에 나도 샹샹 하는 거서.
So from the second moment of having that thing in your hand, you are scared, right? You are afraid. You're always thinking, oh, what's going to happen next?
Right? 아니 가지고 말라서 가네. 좋아. 가려나 가지고 가려면 세대냐 돌아온 팀으로 왔어.
And then don't say anything, don't say any kind of things from your mouth. Just any kind of things. If you say things that are not appropriate, then that will cause other problems.
Right? Sometimes he doesn't know how you say words. Then the other people listen to that will fight them. 근데 다 그래. 차도 많았어. 차도 많아. 제가 끼고 말다 주려고 막. 저도 차도 나기도 끼고 못 왔어.
And also it is said, don't be jealous. If you are jealous, you'll be unhappy. That's true, right? When we are jealous, we become unhappy.
근데 이제 그때 마침에 제가 끼고 말면 저 세조 파주고 하는데 주로 가면 제가 끼고 말았어. 또 싸우트도 소리 듣고 왔어.
So he's saying that don't do these things. If you do this, then you yourself will be unhappy. So it's mainly yourself. yes, to protect yourself.
어떤지 맞아. 아니 나도 대화에 사진 아직 대화에 와있나? 어디까지 얘기를 어디다 제일 누다 공부를 다 하고 누다 제일 왔어.
So because we respect the Buddha, we listen to the Buddha, therefore if we are able to think of our Guru as a Buddha, then we will listen to all his teachings. So therefore it's important to see the Guru as a Buddha.
대만이잖아. 나도 직발해서 시험 대화이나 그 다른 것도 얘기 말고 봐.
So it doesn't matter what is the Guru from his side, but from our side it's important to think of him as a Buddha. And so if we do, then we listen to him, respect him. Otherwise, if we think of him as same as us, ordinary being like ourselves, then we will not listen to him.
어떻게다 담에 계속 소설 여반도 될라도 담에 와.
And so if you see that, if you see the Guru as the Buddha, then ultimately you yourself win. You yourself can see the benefit and profit. So it's all for one's own benefit.
어떤데 조지 배워도 나가더라. 존수 까와슈 막고 마셔봐. 슈 먹었으면 다시 손님 chen 레스다 조지 도송을 배워더라.
So this is what Lama Tisha said, right? What great merit we must have to receive such profound Dhamma without any hardship. And we see as a practice of God.
다 내빠 내대 제시다. 다 답쇼 송을 들어왔어.
So take it seriously. take the Dhamma teaching seriously.
어디 다 어제 빼다 제양 빼나 멤버십 빼나 매직 맨나 세 두슨 순이 저완이가 나스 멤버십 용네 두대 다 줘봐 쭉쭉 넣어서 주고 세대 봐 매니저 매대 다야 맨 아니 세대 매니저 매대 치매지 돼서 치매 치매를 이제 좋아나 아메리카를 치는 거 주의로 왔어.
And so there's this example of the person who have ingested poison, right? Poisonous food, and then if the person is able to give you a medicine to vomit the poison, and then change the medicine of the medicine that you have taken into embrace of immortality, then you will think of that person as being very kind to you, right?
어디 다시 가는 지원하는 해서도 다 되지. 어디나 저시대 지와 마찬 해서도 중에 무게와 대선이라고 뭐셔봐 남이 다 무게와 저번 남이 다시 아주 최대 명확히 보는 거라고 그래서.
So just as the person had been taking poisonous food or something, we have created so many non-conscious actions which are like the poisons. And then so the Guru is like the doctor who gives us the medicine, who gives the medicine to vomit the poison, and the Guru gives us this advice to purify these non-conscious actions.
내 먹기 왔다. 내 배워라다. 저 채우다. 내 먹기 왔다. 빵을 넣어도 왔어.
So he gives these teachings on what is virtue, what is non-virtuous action, what is to be abandoned, what is to be cultivated, and so forth.
나도 마보지 개와 가려다 개와 신경 버렸어.
So many of us, we don't even know what are the virtues and what are the non-virtues.
아니 소속 삼성까지 제대로 왔어.
And we just follow whatever we think is a virtue or non-virtue.
와 안에 세인데 근데 내가 내려지 쳐도 개와 시반. 다 나도 지 서로 개와 쳐야 되네. 년가도 년자다 땅 년자 지대 주자 제대로 왔어. 등소원이 가 그러는데 그놈 봐 가지네. 다 개와를 못해서 그래서
And then also all these practices and the prayers that we do, most of the time, it's kind of becomes tainted, by egoic concerns, doing it for our own benefit, for our well-being, or for our fame, and so forth. And then through the teachings of the Buddha, that transforms. That gets transformed into the pure practice of Dharma.
이마치가도 개회 샤워로 진짜 드라마 치나 이 가게 약불이라는 거 빼가오죠.
So for example, if we do a practice of prayers, and then somebody sees us do that, and then says, "Oh, you're very good. You do all these prayers and practices," and then we become very happy, right? When people praise us in that way.
근데 나치 제일 따다 재미들었나? 아니 뒤는 것도 쌤 막아시기 노를 왔어.
But if when someone says, "Oh, you are doing these prayers, but you're not doing it the right way. You're doing it the wrong way. You're doing it all the wrong way. You should do it this way." If somebody tries to correct you, then you become unhappy, right? Angry.
아무도 거는 것도 쌤 고마가시 일을 왔어. 내가 가서 같이 해야 되지 대치지고 막 거기 딱 떼야 돼.
So that shows that we're falling into the concerns.
그래? 어디지? 아니, 근데가 아니 지대 치지가 영어데 제네 개화치 잡았대요. 딱 그런 거 바깥 교주니 딱 개화서 보고 같이 그래서
And then so through the advice, through the good advice of the teacher, and he transforms that thought into that practice into a pure practice of Dharma by changing the motivation of thought to do that practice.
아니 뭐하는다고 가교도 주네 심화품이 주대 딱 심화품이 주대 심화품이 안에 타와도 되게 잡아 남의 자료들 다 전부가 박저축들이 다 그렇지 말해서
And so then, and so just like changing the medicine to become ambrosia, immortality, and all these virtues that we have accumulated for the better rebirth in a future life, and transform that into the cause to achieve liberation and enlightenment. So everlasting happiness of enlightenment.
이제까지 첨보인 배가 지신으로부터 라운드스는 거라. 특히 이게 장안이지. 가봐. 다 특히 찌라다. 특히 찌라 이게 아주 이게 그치로. 근데 찌를 장기까지 까왔자. 찌를 장 찌라야 까왔자. 속살이야 조피와이나야. 나야 소소라 남노도 때문에 방아티. 근데 딱까지 봐. 섭토고 말해들어.
And so that's how kind our Guru is for giving us all these teachings and transforming all these practices to achieve high realization of Buddhahood and so forth. And so it says in the essence of Nectar Lam-rim, so they say we cannot repay the kindness of being taught one verse, even by offering for as many yuan as the verse has letters. How to repay the kindness of being taught the entire noble path?
내가 똥강나에 두자리가 여기 똥바지 똥강들에 다 손에 타와이나 다 되게 못 되게 아까 지금 쉬운 세계로 왔어.
And so if somebody who is thrown into prison, if someone else helps him to be free from prison, then he will think of the person being very kind to him, right?
대나지 다 라메기 나잖아 면소스에 타기 탑대네 대신 하다 미 빠져라 좀 여기 좀 가져 심바다 나도 강원도에 같이 대화하는 거 토야리 다시 남도 때리고 왔다 같이 싫어져야 들어와.
And so the guru is the same as the person who's helping someone to be free from the prison. Guru teaches us the path which helps us to be free from the lower realms of the lower realms, right? The hell realm, honey realms, animal realms, and be born in the upper realm as human and God, enjoy the happiness of the human and God. And not only that, but also teaches us the entire path to be free from an entire cycle of existence, and also to achieve the state of enlightenment. So, how could the Guru? What can be a greater kindness than the Guru in this way?
그래서 딱 그렇지 보시라. 나도 문화나 문제 어떤데 봐도 좀 마시다가다 다 라바지대요. 다들 파치 추주어도 집안에서 와 들어가다 딱 그렇지 보라.
So therefore, the Guru is very kind to those who are like the blind person who cannot see at all, and there's someone who's holding our hand and taking us towards the right path.
봐. 지금 뭐 지금 말이 뭔데 마치 끝내 나도 되게 막 손을 들어왔어.
So that's like Lama Tsongkhapa said, we are blinded by a very thick fog of ignorance.
Now I got change of suffering. First I can hear very comfortable, very good feeling. Now I got cold. I got tummy tumor.
Suffering.
This is we call this that they were thinking of, oh, this is very nice, very comfortable. But
so usually we think of that, as a happiness, but that doesn't stay as happiness all the time. It changes into suffering. Therefore, Buddha said it's a suffering of change. So when we stand up, for a long time, then we feel tired of that, and then we feel like sitting down. When we sit down, then we feel very comfortable, very happy. But then if we sit for too long, then we get suffering of sitting too long again, and then we feel like standing up, and then we stand up again. So these are called the suffering of change. So on top of all these sufferings that we have, then we have headaches, and we have knee aches, and so forth. That's called suffering of pain.
Right? Sometimes we have stomach, headache, allergy, Also, when it's too cold, we have stomach problem, too hot stomach problem.
And so therefore, these are all in the nature of suffering.
아니 차와도 지동하세요. 다 제는 맛이 발라 간지는 올래라고 가도 다 문제가 뭐들야 되니까 제 됐어. 차 이거 올래라고 무슨 또 말해서.
So the suffering, all pervasive suffering, is not easily recognized. We have it all the time with us, but it's not easily recognized.
Other two is very easy to. 나 제발이 가서 내라고.
The other two are quite easy to understand.
다 간제 만제 주년바 시에베 냠이지 그냥 가려서나 아 간제 생각하고 싶어 그래서.
So anyway, so the purpose of listening to the teachings of practicing the Dharma is to have a relaxed mind.
그래서 그때나 지금 공부사대야나 저도나대야나 좀 맞게다 아니 참 지금 그랬어.
And therefore, if we don't get angry or don't be jealous, then we'll be happy.
그래서 다 소소스럽게나 결산을 봐.
And if we're happy, then that's good, right? That's a profit.
아니 그때는 나나 삼다나 다 지우신 요거 말했어.
And if we think of I all the time, then we will not be happy.
가르는 나왜 사람들이 솔직히 제일 말았어.
Because nobody will do like I think, right?
말 거기서 직접 말하고 거기서 제일
Nobody
말하고.
will give just like I want, right?
Right? Therefore, we are not comfortable or we have to fight. Therefore, try to a little bit put every day a little water to eye. It comes to very strong. A little bit of water. When we make tea, they boil. Overfill, we put a little water.
Overflow.
They come down, right? Therefore, we put always eye. Eye come here. I'm right. Eye, where are you? When we calm down, don't give me problems. I love you, but when we come down, please. Something jealous, I get confused. Well, he or she doesn't listen to me, whatever that is. I push you. And he said, hey, where are you? You don't need to just check outside, check here. You have to calm down. Are you ready? Investigation for us. Whatever you think, whatever your actions is true or not, is it really or not? Usually we don't want investigation, whatever we think we are right. Immediately go there. You will have okay? Then today is no question. Then we finish, then we do
prayer.
We have Holy's birthday cake. Because Holy's birthday, we get cake. That means we can't, Because not his birthday, we don't get cake. Because we give cake. Then after we offer, some kada, some money, after we finish, we do, I think they bring the cake, then we sing the birthday song, what's the song? And after we do offer the Holy's to kada, also not just only kada, if you have some penny, I said just penny, you can offer that, but that's good, we can go married. Usually we have not limit to offer the mandala over there. That people come to this, they look at the wallet, they looking for just only build a wallet, the welcome. Dollar bills, they looking for. If they have 20s, 10s, 50s, but they just push that, just making it once. This is what I think, we call motherliness. We just can't want to that, Usually we don't see much 20 bills, 100 bills, 10 bills, we don't see much. We always say just once. Not just us, everybody who will come here. Sometimes they come here, they will give, I don't want to change us. You don't really change, you can just put there, you don't really change it. You marry it, look like that, they show how, madness. A little bit madness, a little bit calm down. Madness, it's okay. There's something enough. A little bit, push it a little bit. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanksgiving Mango on page 39.